Welcome back to Lost for Words with Lori. It is Friday. Actually, it's Saturday because it's after midnight. And once again, I'm up late thinking and pondering and doing what the Lori do, right? I know it's been kind of a crazy week for a lot of people. Always something going on in first world, second world, toxic cesspool world. And we all have a lot on our plate. And that's just life, right? you know? It's tough, man, I use my platforms, my social media platforms to vent out my thoughts and my feelings, my page, my rules, you know. And while I don't sugarcoat anything to spare people's feelings, I get so frustrated when people make assumptions about, what I say or what I do or what kind of message I'm trying to send. And I've encouraged people to just reach out to me and talk, have a conversation. Let's get to know each other. Let's talk about real life. Let's talk about what you do. Let's learn life lessons from people that are different from us, that aren't all swimming in our echo chamber, right? And I mean, I've had plenty of friends and family that I consider my besties who I don't get to talk to very often. Sometimes I get to talk to them once a week. Sometimes I talk to them once every 3 or 4 days. Sometimes I don't talk to them for a month. Everybody's busy. We all have lives. We all have things to do. And even some of my friends don't have jobs, but are still busy doing other things, or crafts, or spending time with their kids, or taking care of parents, or some people are doing what I'm doing, and they're just spending a lot of time trying to unwrap their trauma and be a better person and navigate the world around them and how vastly different it is. And we all have things about each other that irritate us from time to time. We're not going to agree on everything. I think that's why I really like my friends. The people that I consider to be my besties is we're different, we're unique. And even though they might not be going through the same trauma that I'm experiencing in my first world, they've got some life experience that they can pass my way, or just hold my hand when I need to talk or vent something out. And sometimes I hear things from my friends that I don't want to hear, but they're giving me honest advice in a way where it comes to me as love, not criticism. I feel like it makes me a good friend to be able to do the same. To support my friends in learning and growing and understanding their lives and just trying to be the best version of themselves. That's what I'm trying to do. And if you care about your friends and these people who are investing time in you, then you learn how to resolve conflict. You don't avoid it. And I've had my share of talks with people where we had to admit we were both being an asshole to each other and we just needed to vent it out. And sometimes it was just us being upset about something else and we were taking it out on the person closest to us. I'm friends with a lot of stubborn and independent people who are so much like me. And it enriches my life to have those people around to hold me accountable. We don't block each other and unfriend each other on Facebook just to keep score. In fact, we often check in with each other and say, hey, is it something up? You seem off. Is there something maybe we can bat around or talk about? Or, let's have a discussion. Let's vent out what's going on in our world that's making us frustrated. And we'll call each other out on our shit in real time. We don't wait 6 months down the road and get all butthurt about something that you don't even remember why it made you bother you in the first place. Hanging on to resentment is not how healthy relationships maintain themselves, whether it's friendships or, your spouse, your partner, your children, your parents. I mean, communication does work. I appreciate the people in my life right now who are so good at learning how to communicate and for their amazing behavior in our friendship, and they know who they are. It's been frustrating watching people threaten to quit their platforms or stop going on social media and throwing little tantrums. I'm not doing that. I'm not quitting any of my platforms. I'm not going to block anybody or delete or slam people in public because I make assumptions based on my emotions. But I'm also not a mind reader. If you're upset with me, it's kind of your responsibility to talk to me in the moment and not tell everybody else why you're mad. And it's not my responsibility to assume that if you're busy in your first world that you're mad at me for some reason. You know, I gotta come to you sometimes and say, hey, you okay? You good, bro? Or what's up? But I get busy too. I don't have time to hold hand with everybody that I'm friends with. I try to check in as often as I can, but it doesn't make me a bad friend because I'm not up your ass every day asking it how your breakfast is or what you're having in your coffee. But if I check in with people and say, hey, are we good? Are you good? Is everything cool? And you say, yeah, no, I don't got no problem. Then I'm going to take you at face value, man. I'm going to believe it. When I say, are we good? And you say, we're good, I'm going to take you for face value. I'm not going to be able to interpret any body language or tone because you're afraid to have a conversation that might be uncomfortable. I'm not scary. It's reasonable. But I can't apologize for not being able to read your mind. And people need to learn to communicate when they're hurting. They need to learn to reach out to the people that they supposedly trust. And when I need people, I've been learning to reach out. And it's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're in a grief journey or you're experiencing a breakup of a relationship or you lose, a parent or a spouse. Wrapping your brain around trauma, whether it's from the past or in your first world immediately right now, it sucks. But people need to be a little more compassionate toward each other and try to find their commonalities and their shared experiences to help each other heal, not keep beating each other up and bringing them down. I mean, real friends don't score keep and, treat each other that way because they need attention and they're feeling insecure. Everybody feels that way, but people aren't reaching out to say, I'm insecure right now and I just need somebody to validate that I'm an okay person. It's not about tantrums and who likes who more and who spends more time and hanging out and validating people on social media. I mean, to be fair, Toby and I had a lot of arguments in the beginning of our relationship because he wanted me to like all his Facebook posts, and if I missed him, he'd get really upset. Like, why can't you just like my stuff? And I'm like, sweetie, it's not personal. I spend every day with you. You don't need me to validate you on social media. And until we learn to communicate, and we had lots of disagreements about it, it was tough because he was really just feeling insecure about something else and it was coming out sideways on social media. But he was a courageous man for taking the time to learn that his behavior was a past trauma response and he needed to work on that, and he would be a better communicator with everybody in his first world and on social media. And we learned a lot of valuable lessons from that experience in our first world and in our relationship. But patience and good listening and a willingness to compromise is a deal breaker in relationships and in friendships and in everything. And it's frustrating when people that you like on a social media platform have beef, and it's hard to not take sides or try to put people in the middle, especially when you just need to vent stuff out and maybe hear a better way of resolving the conflict. But it's tough, man. It's tough to maintain those friendships. But, if you're emotional, you need to step away from the ranting on social media unless you can do it in a responsible manner. Take a deep dive into why you're sabotaging your own success by creating patterns and problems with, drama. I mean, I love my friends, but, I'm not a professional. I'm just somebody who's got life experience trying to navigate life the best way that I can. And throwing all my trauma out to the public and then having them chew you up and spit you out isn't helping anybody. It's making people feel bad. Personal responsibility that recognizes that you're struggling and you need assistance that you're not getting because you're in a circle, a spiral of bad behavior that's making your life miserable, is your responsibility. There's programs, there's people you can talk to, there's communities that help people deal with first world problems in a safe environment where they're not judged and where they can heal correctly, not take out their emotions on unsuspecting or innocent people on the internet. I mean, we all have our own demons to slay. We have traumas we bring into relationships and perspectives based on our lifetime of experience. But, being mature means that you can accept that and be transparent in your communication with the people around you. And if not, then you have a failure to communicate, period. But I find that we're all broken and damaged, and we all have things to work on, but there are people who participate in toxic behaviors and, I don't know, patterns of just self-sabotage. And recognizing that, and being able to accept that getting healthy mentally is a lot of hard work. I mean, there's no super pill or easy fix for unwrapping decades of trauma, and I should know. I'm the poster child. But I'm doing it. It's not easy. It sucks every day, but the alternative is unacceptable. But it's not my job to recognize other people's issues and fix them. It's only my responsibility to fix myself. And be compassionate and be sympathetic and empathize with anybody else who's experienced trauma. I'm not a cold-hearted bizatch. At some point you have to, start helping people unwrap their emotions and just be there to hold their hand. If you accept responsibility for your life and you do the hard work, you're going to succeed. And not everybody is on that same level or path, but we need to understand that at least you're starting somewhere. Nobody's better than anyone else. And no one likes anyone more or less because of, how many likes or comments you get on social media, or who talks to you on the internet, or any of that stuff. And, if you act that way and think that way, it's selfish. And we're all important. We all have feelings. We're all human. And none of us is really all that damn special. But if you continue to act like you are, then you alienate people who you could learn a lot from. People that can give you a different perspective that might help you think of something new that might help you on your journey, whatever that looks like. I try really hard to talk about subjects, make little public service announcements, and do the things and talk about what's going on in my first world as part of my journey. Not to alienate my friends, but to help them understand that you can have really solid boundaries, and people will comply as long as they understand what you're thinking transparently. And again, it's all back to communication. I'm just trying to evolve, grow, and be the best version of myself, and I'm succeeding, and everyone around me can too, if they can just accept that they're human. They're not entitled, they're not special, they don't get a participation trophy if you're being broken or damaged or traumatized. We all get one. No one's life has been better or worse or more traumatic. We're all unique. We all handle our trauma different. And some people need to be talked to or understood or listened to differently. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. Their behavior isn't excusable because of their trauma, but it is a reason behind some of the things they do, and people are quick to jump and snap and vilify because it makes them uncomfortable. Nobody likes to have to try to feel bad for anybody who's going through something sad, and it forces us to take a look at the fact that someday we might have to deal with that too, and it's terrifying. I mean, how many of my friends said, I can't even imagine what you're going through because their life without their spouse would be so painful. But yet there are people who are experiencing it, and that's tough. But you don't run away from those people. You support them with love and compassion. You don't understand what they're going through, and you don't have to fix them. Just hug them, hold their hand, and listen, and encourage them to remember the good things and help them focus on healing their trauma. I just get tired sometimes of having my boundaries stepped on because people can't stop scorekeeping and gatekeeping, and I try really hard not to do that to my friends. It makes me feel bad. It's unfair. It makes everyone uncomfortable. I haven't worked this hard on my own mental health to have other people take advantage of my patience and energy and try to trigger my traumas when they already know I handle them poorly, and then try to turn it around me like I'm the bad friend. That's playground mentality. And I mean, I started over before, I can do it again, but I like people. And if we can all share common things and help each other by just being present, nobody has to be right. Nobody has to compete. I'm not perfect. I had a meltdown on the social medias, and I owned it. I was accountable. And people are like, well, why would you just leave that there and embarrass yourself? Because I don't find it an embarrassment to be human. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to throw myself out there and say, listen, I fucked up and she didn't deserve that. But I'm going to try harder to do better next time. If I keep repeating that behavior, then that makes me the asshole. And then I would totally understand why somebody wouldn't want to be my friend. But at the same time, I'm just having a moment. I'm angry, I'm emotional, and everybody has a meltdown. I'm accountable for how I treat other people when I can't handle my own emotions. And if you recognize that, that's the first step to just being able to have friends on a social media platform that you're not expecting to do the hard work and fix your shit for you. I came to the interwebs for fun and fellowship and laughter because my first world is hard enough. And for the most part, on one platform, I found a lot of love and encouragement and support. It's my first world. These are real people. But there's a lot of good people out on the virtual land, too. And they don't need to be swimming in toxic cesspool world. They just need to realize that if you calm down and step back and try not to escape from the things that are plaguing you, but rather use it as an opportunity to deal with them, social media becomes a whole different ballgame. It isn't about drama. It isn't about escaping the realities of your problems and bringing them and venting them out to innocent people. It becomes more about finding a way to cope with it. A space where you can laugh and breathe, and then also find the space to learn the lessons that are important. And I'm grateful for that. I've been able to find some of that and maintain and learn about what my boundaries are while I seek what makes me happy, because that's my journey. I got kind of tired of repeating myself and beating the dead horse. I'm tired, It's been a long year dropping podcasts on subjects and observing what's going on around me, but at the same time, I've learned so much. And I've come so far, and I've got a journal, a diary of it here on a platform where I can follow along on my journey and realize that I'm succeeding. And that makes me feel good. Seeing all of the different emotions that I've had on different days and following along for what this journey has looked like for the last year has been humbling, eye-opening, emotional. It's made me laugh and cry and smile. But it's also made me realize the value of the people around me who have been along for that period of time during this journey, and taking a really hard look at who's there and why, and who's come and gone, and how much of that had to do with me being allowed to grow and evolve and become a better version, and not accept that I'm a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm a, maybe loose terms of circumstance, yes, but I don't have to choose to live in that and victimize myself or define my future because I've been through something traumatic. And nobody does. I get it. Life's hard, man. And sometimes you can't just get a helmet. Sometimes you do need to sit in it and feel it and be part of it. And it helps you to really appreciate what's out there for you and appreciate what kind of life you can create for yourself. Thanks for listening to my rant. It's kind of a weird public service announcement because I wanted to change the tone. I wanted to change my energy. I wanted to feel it be positive in my words and not angry, because when I first thought these words, I was angry. And I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. But at the same time, I'm optimistic because I know that we all have the opportunity to be better and do better and learn lessons and make mistakes and still get up and try to be better the next day. And I've seen a lot of great growth in people that I really love and care about, and it makes me happy that I'm not going to be swimming alone, and that I don't have to keep moving forward and fear leaving people behind. People are smart. They'll learn, they'll understand, they'll see. And that's all I can ask for. I'm grateful, I'm humble, and I appreciate all of the great people that I've met along the way. And I can't wait to see what kind of future that is for all of us. I'm excited. I feel optimistic. And I know that there's going to be days where I'm at the bottom of the mountain again and I feel like I'm sinking. But I have to get back up and try and climb the other side of the mountain again so I can see the view from the top. Some days it might be foggy, some days it might be glorious and sunny. But I'm still going to try and get to the top of the mountain, whatever that looks like for me. I'm going to stop rambling now and thank everybody for taking the time to listen to my podcast tonight. I know things have been crazy, especially on social media. The world's a tough place. There's a lot going on. Politics, religion, and people fighting, and countries, and yada, yada, yada. And on top of the burden of that emotionally, people are struggling. It's the holidays. Be kind to each other. Take a step back. Breathe. We're not alone. We don't have to fight each other. We can help each other learn and grow and evolve and be the best versions of ourselves. That's what the Lori do. I'll talk to y'all soon. Make sure that you wash your fucking hands and be a good human. I love y'all. I'll talk to you soon.